Yeah. Well, yeah, I went live all by myself. We'll see how that works. Yeah. I'm making 2 sets of tools. I'm going to make a drift and a punch because it's practice, just out of rebar. So I made a chisel the other day. Got it thermal cycled and heat treated, and it's worked. I was kind of surprised at how well some junk steel will work for just a first time chisel. So I was like, well, I might as well practice with a drift and a punch. So I got 2 more sticks in of the rebar. I don't know, this is nothing fancy. We had it sitting around at our shop. So it's just 5/8 rebar, just junk steel. And yeah, just work on that for now. Then I'm also working on another set of tongs. I got my first set of tongs right here. Is this 1/4 by 1 by 1 inch hot roll flat, and so I got a larger piece in to try and make. These are nicer. I mean, real small tool handling. Like here's a piece of 1/4 inch angle iron. I mean it works great. But you can see, like, you know, you want so much length in your reins, but I mean you can put some squeeze on it and it holds it tight. I mean it's not going anywhere, but I want to make just a slightly larger set with better grips, and it'll be for probably a set of V-bit tongs as well, so it'll look like that when it's done. But so that's what the other piece of strap is in there for. And so on the one, I was also trying to distress the rebar, but I've never done that before, so it's kind of going wonky. It thickened it a little. I think I'm just going to scrap that and just start tapering it out for one of the drifts. So. So they were coming. I think this will be the punch. I'm gonna start at about a 1/4 inch at the end, and I'd like it to be pretty drawn out instead of really steep. Obviously for the drift, it'll be a little easier. So we got the 4 sides. Now we'll draw a little more, do the octagon and around it. with the second set of tongs. This is gonna be my reins. I'll be the boss. I'll eventually cut that off. This piece probably isn't long enough. Even through the glove is feeling a little warm, but we'll try and keep it cool. Okay, it's that. Had a thought. I posted a video with that ring. There's got to be comments out there, people that was hearing in. Does the hammer make a ring when you did it once? I met him once. Yeah, let's see here. People are asking about the ring. So I got some other videos. The one that sparked a lot of debate was the sound. Get that cleaned off. So yeah, so for here it's bolted down. I should have had some magnets out here too. I have some large ones, but depending on what side too, it's louder. I usually avoid that for now. I think the next step I'm going to do, a buddy of mine told me about, is taking a lot of silicone and you get it in and around, you trace out the bottom of your anvil and set it on there. That should help too. I think it's a lot worse. I watched some of the videos back and it sounds super loud, but here in the shop, I mean, it's a big shop. It's really not that loud. I got another anvil over here. Let me pull that one over. If I can grab it. See that one? A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. So this is the Doyle from Harbor Freight. It's just cast. But that one's real quiet. And there's a lot of people, they can tell you why that is. I don't know enough to know anything about that. Just like my dad. Yeah, right? I mean, yeah, you got to be a certain age to know about that. Let's see. Yeah, so for underneath the Harbor Freight, which I highly recommend. I mean, so this right here, the Harbor Freight is 65 pounds, and it's 140 bucks. I mean, $2 a poundish, a little over $2 a pound. You can't beat that in the anvil world. This one was my wife's grandfather's. It goes back to the early 1900s, the Hay Buten. And I like using it. The reason why I like the Harbor Freight one is I happened to get it first before I got this larger one, but it has nice, pretty good 90-degree angles on it. I ground off, they were real sharp when I got it. I ground those off. So now it's like an 1/8 to 3/16 radius on there, but it makes real nice edges when I'm making hooks. On this one, I haven't decided if I'm going to face the whole thing off. I got a machinist friend that'll do that for me, but I don't really want to touch it. I think, why not just have the two anvils? I'll use the one for one thing and the the big one for the other. So all my major forging right now is going on this one right here. So, all right, so here we'll tap both so you can kind of hear them. So here you got the, like that, and on here. It almost gets a little louder ringing off that steel. So now we're starting to get the 8 sides on. I don't know how clear that is. So we got the octagon going on. I'm gonna do that a little bit more, and then we're gonna start rounding that off. And as long as it's straight, that drift will be done. That's it. Hot steel. That's why you don't do it in a barn, right? So the danger with something so thick, I haven't learned how to do tongs with like round or square stock. I just only done it with a piece of strap. And so as I'm pounding down on this edge, it's going to fold over. So you just got to be careful it doesn't do a cold shut there. But already, so I started at 4 inches from this piece here. Yeah, so I'm at 5 inches. I've grown an inch already, and that's where I'm learning how to go off the anvil. Where am I going off the anvil? How do we draw that material out? So that's been kind of the fun of playing with junk steel. And all right, we'll keep rounding off those drifts and try not to drop anymore. Okay, we're getting there. So now we're looking pretty close, pretty rounded. Sorry, I'm not keeping up with the comments here. What kind of wood use for the base? Oh, I don't know if I already said that. Maybe I did. Yeah, so I got a bunch of old oak 4x4s and 2x6s from an old barn, and then this one is just a large log that it was on when I got it, the large anvil. Minnesota wants morality. 1 inch is respectful growth. Let's see here. All right. See here. Go for a little bit longer, I think. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I think we'll start on the thermal cycling. We're just going to run it 3 times through the forge on the end there and let it calm down. And yeah, I'll see how that goes. If I can grab it, I'll pop that one back in. Oh, I get it. There we go. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Got to be friends with your UPS guy, you know. Yeah, I think I'm good with that one too. Looking pretty straight. Yeah, we'll give it a go. All right. Just for fun, we'll see where we're at. 6 inches. So yeah, we're getting there. Looks pretty great. Looks like I'm already losing my. Oh, where do we put it? There we go. Right on the anvil where I left it. All right, I get my other anvil cleared off here so we can just lay those pieces out. Okay, I gotta probably make some marks. Let's see. So I got magnets right here. Yep, we're good. So just gonna let that sit on one anvil there. Yep. So we'll let those. And I'm not the first time when I made my chisel. I mean, I took a class where we were just making railroad spikes, and we waited till I got to the gray color of the steel. And I mean, I don't think you'd want to touch it. So we just chucked them in. That was our thermal cycling. And so for these, I'm going to let them go till they turn gray. I'll toss them back in, and I'll repeat the 3 times, and then I'll quench on the 4th. And yeah, I'm sure my reason for doing it so quick is I figure with this junk rebar steel, I'm just curious to see how quick and how quick could a guy possibly go to pump these out to make a usable piece, like for the punch, and just see how they hold up. And if it doesn't hold up well, then I'll know I'll need to look at the thermal cycling and then the tempering a little bit better. The end of this week, I'll be picking up some coil springs. I got a buddy who's a mechanic. So I'm going to grab some better tool steel to make better tools with. But I figure before I start wasting my time and effort hitting that high carbon steel, I might as well practice with these. And with, like I said, with the chisel, I mean, I popped it right into the mild steel that I was using, obviously, and it was cold, and I mean, it worked just fine. I mean, it's held up real nice, and I'm like, shoot, for a piece of free rebar, might as well make some cheap chisels and some cutoffs, some hot cuts, and whatever. You know, I mean, someday we'll get to the fancy stuff, you know, but for now, might as well just have some fun. All right, and I think I'll probably do the thermal cycling 3 times, and then I'm going to keep drying out the rain on that one on that set of tongs, and then I think we'll call it for the day. So it'll probably be about another, I will say about 4 o'clock, so in about another 10 minutes here. Before I do that, let's see if there's anybody writing in. I'm pretty bad at this. Finally, some good content, man. I hope so. Actually, just a comment on that. So I'm only doing this. I've been in metal fabrication all my life. So I started working at a factory when I was like 15 or so with Dad, and just constantly learning what I can. And then this last year, I was watching a show, and it's like, man, I'd love to try my hand at some blacksmithing. I mean, my kids are older now. I can take some time, and so I took a few classes, and I'm like, wow, for what you can get set up, you have a cheap beaver forge. I got a couple of anvils and worked some deals, and I'm just trying to make my own tools. I don't want to be a knife maker. I'll make knives. Maybe I'll bring the one I made so far, but I like the idea of blacksmithing and moving steel, making tools, making things you can use. And so this is just, people ask us like where we go to church and other places. We all have different jobs and occupations. There's a few of us there that are factory workers and the rest are doctors. And so like for them and all the people I've talked to, it's like, man, like it's fun for all of us to see each other's work and the things we're working on. And so I just started posting on YouTube and Instagram, and so it's kind of been fun. So this is more or less a catalog of just my journey into making a lot of mistakes. So let's see, find some good content. Are there any books on blacksmithing you recommend? You know, I haven't found any. There are a couple of books. I haven't looked at any yet, but there are. If you look up Black Bear Forge, that's where I'm learning. It's actually the tongs I'm making are from Black Bear Forge. She has a 10-minute video, or actually no, it'd be two like 30-minute videos on making those. I'd like to find some books. I think books for me would be really good for like heat treating and learning about the types of steels you're using. But there's apps for that now as well. But I like paper. I like to find it. It's easy to watch YouTube videos as well. But sometimes dog-earing books and looking for content inside of books is always a great way for us to learn. So I can't recommend one now. But they at Black Bear Forge and some other guys, they do recommend books that you could find. Yeah, so I have another video. If you look on the channel, I put these side by side, and I ran all kinds, or not all kinds, a couple different tests with ball bearings, and then with the hammers with these large magnets on. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could tell a difference. I think the next thing I'm going to do is try the silicone underneath. I'll just kind of get that gooped on. The Harbor Freight one is actually great. Like there's no sound to that one, but it's the work area is so small. Like Dad always says, when you're going to set up your work area in the factory with whatever you're working on, set it up to how you want it. You have a nice area, set it up like so. And so with this so I went from like 8 inches of usable, like 4 by 8 inches on this little Harbor Freight one to about 4.5, 5 inches by about 19 inches on the sewing. So I got a huge work area for laying that material in and around. But like I said, the Harbor Freight one for doing a lot of stuff I used it for the first 2 months I was doing this. And I love it. It works great. But how can you not hit around this, this anvil from the early 1900s? I love the sound of it when I remember to have earplugs in. But it's really not that bad. Like I said, it's just the video, I think, just sounds a little worse. But All right, let's get these thrown back in for round 2. I'm gonna grab my fancy marker. All right, we did 1. I was doing this the other day too, and I sat there and I was like, I honestly don't remember how many times I've been doing this, but I think I got it right. So, all right, let's keep drawing that out. Probably could have gone a little further there. So the 2 things I always forget too, find blacksmiths that you can talk to, or find people you can watch videos on that can watch you and be like, you're doing that wrong. The 2 things I always forget is when the steel isn't red anymore, just or orange, whatever color, when it's not that nice light color, throw it back in. I mean, I always have the tendency to want to keep fighting it. No, I can get 5, 10 more hits out of it. No, just get it hot. You'll move it a lot faster. That's obvious. However, I never. It's the one thing I keep coming back to. The other one is, my buddy said what I was having issues with as he was watching me is I have it this way. I'm hitting along the way. He was like, no, you want to focus on one spot and just start hitting, and then you're going to pull back and forth as though you're using like a power hammer. But that'll help with your accuracy. It'll help move that steel when you're doing half blows or glancing blows. So that's the 2 biggest tips I've learned is keep the metal hot and focus on that one spot and draw that steel back and forth to start drawing it out. For most of you guys, though, that's going to be blatantly obvious. But for me, I get stuck in my ways on something, and I'll need someone to come along and kind of help me out there. Let's see. Is it edible? The steel, probably not. I don't know what you're referencing, but nothing here I don't think is edible. Let's see. So I'm in Minnesota. If anybody wants to shout out where they're watching from, let me know. I'd love to hear where everyone's watching in at. Southern Minnesota. So it's actually, we warmed up now. So the shops, it's kind of nice, a week ago running the forge, because we were negative 10, 20 degrees. But now we're at about 50 degrees outside, and I can already see running this through the summertime is going to be kind of a thing. But yeah, if there's any other guys doing some blacksmithing out there, let me know if you are, and if you got any tips. Man alive, tell me what I'm doing wrong. We're trying to make this work as best I can. All right, let's see. Those pieces are ready. Yep, that's good. That's pretty good too. I suppose there's other people that could probably tell you all about the thermal cycling and the like. I really can't. I know other than just bringing your material back up to or kind of aligning the properties back to get ready for that hardening process. It's stuff I'd like to learn more about, but now I'm just kind of focused on moving steel. So, all right. All right, let's check this again here, see how we're doing. Yeah, 7.5. So I'm hoping to get these out to, I'd say about 12 inches. 11 or 12 inches, I think. I got another set here. Yeah, so that looks like it's about 12 inches. So most of my tongs, I think, about in that 12-inch range, or 12, 13 inches. I think that's where I want to be. All right, kind of just on a waiting game right now. Yeah, thank you, AJ. The air cooling and annealing softens the metal, quenching tempers hardens it. Yeah, there you go. And then yeah, so that's something I got to learn more too. As far as the certain types of tools you're building are all, so I'm going to be building, like, these two pieces here are going to be a drift and a punch. Now with all steels, the question I would have is, with all steels, or anybody that's, if you're forging, whatever it is for the steel that you're forging, do they all need to be thermal cycled before you go on to the quench and the temper, or are there some where you can just skip the thermal cycling? That's something I don't know. So AJ, if you know, let us know out there. But that'd be a curious thing to know as well. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pop those right back in. Get my trusty marker and mark that for 2. And I guess we're already going to go over what I thought we were, but that's fine. Just want to get these cycled and quenched. Yeah, it's coming along all right. I realized too, I'm doing far more talking than I wanted to. Ideally, in the future, whenever I post these, I'm probably just going to set up the camera and just kind of go. I hope not to do too much talking. There's not a lot I know, so I'd hate to start telling you something that that's not quite right or accurate in the blacksmith world. But yeah, first stream today. Finally got enough subscribers to start doing this. I don't like making the videos and cutting and splicing. I just rather throw it on live and let it go and see who's out there and see what other people are doing and get some of these organized. There we go. Let's see, while we're waiting, something else I just threw together. I got so it's one of the spike knives I'm working on now. It's looking pretty cruddy, but I need to make a spring fuller for it. So that's something, this is what I like doing a lot, is making I'm a welder by trade and machinist, and so I like any types of these things I can do to help make your work a little easier. So that's something we threw together this last week. There's a few more pieces I gotta make for the hardy holes. I got a hot cut tool that I have to get mounted inside of there, so I gotta get that figured out. Let's see. Built a tool for making some rivets. I gotta figure out something better for that too, because I think the hole I made is just slightly bigger. It's for a 3/8 rivet, but man, I had the hardest time getting that thing out. I thought it was pretty close for the drill size to the 3/8, but I must have grabbed the wrong bit or put the wrong one down. But I had the hardest time getting that out, so I don't know if I need to cool it down or hit it out while it's a little hotter or what. That's something I don't know too. So I gotta make a couple different ones of those for more rivets. I want to take a day where I'm going to make one of the videos I'll do. I'll probably be making 30, 40, 50 rivets or something. I want to just punch out a ton of rivets so then I don't have to do it again for a while. It's kind of the idea. Let's quick pull these parts back out if they're hot enough. Yep, that'll do. Yep, that'll do. Stay there. So I want to be careful I don't go too thin up here on the reins, because I'd like that to be quite a bit more rigid than my last pair. So I think about where I got that is good. I'll put that in for one more heat. And these are about done, so now I'll have one more. I'll probably mark that. That was the third. And then we're going to go for the quench on those. I think I will do oil. No, I did water on the chisel, so I think I'll do water again. If that's cringe, let me know. I think it's okay because it's rebar, it's junk. I think a water quench is fine. And if it does break, I don't think it'll break, but we'll see what that does. All right, I'm going to pop those back in though. All right, I got my water bucket. So that'll go to quench. Cool down my handle a little here. There we go. I'm going to cool that down a little. So that'll be it for this today. Just the handle so I can hold on to it. So what I already like about, because this is, actually, what was the thickness of this? It was either 1 1/4 or 1 1/2. I don't remember now. Yeah, so it's 1 1/2. This is 1/4 by 1 1/2. And what I already like about it is the reins up where the boss is going to be is already at 3/8. Whereas my first tongs I made, that retained the same, so it's only a 1/4 inch. So they're pretty strong up by the boss. But, and this is like these set of tongs, the first ones I made, they're literally just supposed to be, is this, yeah, so it's Black Bear Forges who, where I watched the video for these. The idea is that you have very minimal tools. And so I actually made this out of a piece of 2 feet. So you draw the reins out, you cut it down, you do the rest with no tongs at all. So that way it gives you plenty of material so you're not going to burn yourself or anything. But so I do like these a lot, and they hold steel really well. But as anybody that starts blacksmithing knows, I only have I have 4 tongs now, and I think I'm about 40 tongs short on all the stuff I'm realizing I need to just for some of the projects I'm working on. You just never have enough tongs, but hey, Mark, thanks for the nice compliments. You something like I really appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, appreciate the comments. And thanks for the like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. I'm just doing this for me. My kids, they're older, so when I'm done with I have a normal job, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, the idea of being creative, of making something. I think it's something we're starting to lose, or we have been losing as a culture. And I love just creating stuff. I'm not a book smart kind of person. I like to watch somebody do something and make something from there. And just being able to come in and make tools like I said, I've already made a couple things, but I mean, even a simple pair of tongs is the first tool I made. And the amount of satisfaction just from making something I could use on an everyday, that's kind of why I'm doing this. My son, he does a lot of stuff with YouTube. He's an artist, and he likes 3D printing. He goes out on scooter rides, but he's always doing something as well. So for us to kind of go back and forth with each other on what are you doing, how are you doing it, why are you doing it, that's fun. And I think that's something we've desperately lost as a culture, is fathers and sons, or fathers and their children learning what their fathers are doing. And I think that's something we should try and bring back. So my son is 16, but so he can understand a lot of things. But I think we get impatient as parents trying to rush them along, or I'll just cut that for you. But it's like, no, just make sure they don't cut their fingers off, or burn themselves to death, and teach them patiently how to work with tools. Or, I mean, if you're a computer programmer, if you're I don't know, if you're a healer, teach your kids how to do it. All right, so I'm gonna pull these out and go for a quench. Get this stuff kind of pulled out of the way here. You know what I should have done is, well, I still could do it. I could put one in oil. I could put one in oil for a quench and see if that comes out any differently. No, not today. I don't want to burn anything down. So we'll just stick with the water quench today. All right, I think that'll do. Well, I hear another truck coming, so I should probably get this all shut down. But Hey, thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you again soon. I'm gonna try and do this a few times a week. So clock in and we'll see you next time. As soon as I figure out how to shut this off. Does anyone know how to shut it off? X. Yes, I would like to end now. All right, see you everyone.